All right, so welcome everyone to another deep dive. Today we're going to be, well, taking a look at something a little different, I guess you could say.
Different how?
Well, I mean, different from like the usual historical texts and stuff. Today we're looking at a legend.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah, it's a Chinese legend called the Butterfly Lovers, and apparently it's a pretty big deal over there. Often called like the Chinese Romeo and Juliet. So pretty intense, huh?
Definitely sounds intriguing. Forbidden love, I bet.
Oh yeah, you got it. And twists and turns, and even, you get this, a touch of the supernatural.
Okay, you've got my attention. Let's dive into this. What kind of source material are we working with here?
Well, it's not a full-blown epic poem or anything, more of a like short summary.
Yeah.
Originally written in Chinese, of course. So, yeah, we're going to be unpacking like the main plot points, the themes, and all that good stuff.
Looking forward to it. It's always fascinating to see how these stories reflect the culture and values they come from.
Exactly. Okay, so the story starts with this young woman, right? Her name's Zhu Yingtai. And she's like super smart, wants to go to school in Hangzhou. But problem is, back then, women weren't exactly welcome in those hallowed halls of learning.
Ah, yeah. Strict societal rules, gender roles, all that.
Yep. So what does she do? She disguises herself as a man. A pretty bold move, if you ask me.
You said it. I mean, that right there tells you something about Zhu Yingtai. She's not one to just accept the limitations placed on her. She wants an education, and she's willing to take a huge risk to get it.
Yeah. It makes you think, right? Like, how many other women throughout history were denied opportunities just because of their gender? It's kind of like a hidden rebellion in a way.
Absolutely. And it also adds a whole layer of complexity to the story, knowing that she's living this double life.
Okay, so Zhu Yingkai, disguised as a dude, heads off to school. And that's where she meets Liang Shanbo. They become like the best of buds, studying together for 3 whole years.
3 years. I can only imagine the bond they must have formed sharing that intense academic journey.
Totally. But of course, Liang Shanbo is completely clueless that his study buddy is actually a woman. I mean, talk about a classic case of mistaken identity.
It's like, how do you miss that? But then again, if you're not even considering the possibility, it's easy to be fooled, I suppose.
Right. Like your brain just doesn't even go there. And to be fair, Zhu Yingtai probably did a pretty convincing job with her disguise.
I'm sure she did. It makes me wonder, though, about the psychological aspect of it. Was there a part of Liang Shanbo that maybe, on some level, did sense something different about his friend? Or was he truly oblivious?
Yeah. Interesting question. I mean, I'm sure there are all sorts of psychological theories about that kind of thing, but yeah, who knows what was going on in his subconscious.
And we also have to consider how this mistaken identity shapes their relationship. They're forming this deep connection, but it's based on a fundamental misunderstanding. It adds a layer of like unspoken tension to their interactions.
Oh, definitely. And like it makes the eventual reveal that much more impactful. Okay, so eventually Zhu Yingtai and Liang Shanbo have to go their separate ways. But before they do, Zhu Yingtai tries to like subtly hint at her true identity, drop some clues, you know.
Yeah.
But sadly, Liang Shanbo is totally oblivious. Talk about a missed connection.
So frustrating, but also so human, right? We've all had those moments where we completely miss the signals someone is sending.
Oh, for sure. Like maybe he just thought she was a little eccentric. Who knows?
I bet he was kicking himself later on. But yeah, they go their separate ways. What happens next?
Well, later on, Liang Shanbo decides to visit Zhu Yingtai at her home. And guess what? He finally discovers she's a woman. I mean, duh, right? But it's this whole big reveal, and they realize they've fallen deeply in love.
So the feelings were real, even though their understanding of each other was incomplete. But something tells me this isn't going to be a happily ever after kind of situation.
Oh, you got that right. See, just like in Romeo and Juliet, their happiness is cut tragically short. Turns out, Zhu Yingtai is already betrothed to another man. Arranged marriage, the whole 9 yards.
Oh man, this is where the social commentary really hits hard, doesn't it? Individual desires clashing with societal expectations.
Big time. I mean, imagine being promised to someone you don't love, knowing your true love is out there. It's heartbreaking.
It really highlights how much power these societal forces had over people's lives. Love was often seen as a secondary concern compared to family obligations and social standing.
Yeah. So, as you can imagine, Liang Shanbo is completely devastated when he hears this news. I mean, the love of his life is about to marry someone else. It's just too much for him to bear. He falls ill and sadly dies.
Oh, wow. Talk about a blow. It really emphasizes the intensity of his love for Zhu Yingtai. He literally couldn't live without her.
Exactly. And that brings us to Well, the climax of the story. Picture this. It's Zhu Yingtai's wedding day. The procession is making its way to the groom's house, and they happen to pass by Liang Shanbo's grave.
Okay, I'm on the edge of my seat here. This is where things get interesting, I bet.
Oh, yeah. So as they're passing the grave, the tomb suddenly splits open. I mean, talk about a dramatic entrance, really.
Wow, that's some serious supernatural intervention. It's like the universe itself is acknowledging the depth of their love and the injustice of the situation.
Right. And Zhu Yingtai, well, she can't bear the thought of living a life without Liang Shanbo. So in this incredible act of defiance, she throws herself into the grave.
Oh my gosh, that's intense. It's a powerful rejection of the life that's been chosen for her. She's choosing love even in death.
Exactly. It's like she's saying, no, I won't be a pawn in your game. My heart belongs to Liang Shanbo, and I'll be with him one way or another.
It's a statement about the power of individual choice. And it also highlights the enduring theme of love conquering all obstacles, even death itself.
And then comes the truly magical part. Out of the grave emerged two butterflies flying off together. The legend says that Zhu Yingtai and Liang Shanbo were transformed, forever united in flight.
Wow. That's beautiful and so symbolic. I mean, butterflies often represent transformation, rebirth, the soul's journey.
Yeah, it's like their love transcends the physical world and becomes something even greater, something eternal.
And it's interesting how the story uses this fantastical element to convey such a deep emotional truth. Even though it's a legend, it speaks to something very real about the human experience.
Absolutely. Like,
Yeah.
it shows how powerful love can be, how it can endure even in the face of incredible hardship. And it also, makes you think about how societal norms can, trap people and prevent them from being with the ones they truly love.
Right. And the butterfly transformation, it's like a symbol of hope. It suggests that even though their love story ended tragically in the earthly realm, their spirits found a way to be together in some other form.
It's almost like even though they couldn't be together in life, their love transformed into something even more powerful in death.
Exactly. Their love became a force that could not be contained by the limitations of the physical world. It had to break free and take on a new form.
It's a pretty amazing story when you think about it. It's been told and retold for centuries, and it still resonates with people today. Even though, the specific cultural context is different, the core themes are universal, right?
Totally. Love, loss, societal pressure, defying expectations. These are all things that people can relate to no matter where they come from or what time period they live in.
It's crazy how a story from so long ago can still, speak to us today.
It is, and it makes me wonder how this story would play out if it were set in the modern world. Would Zhu Yingtai and Liang Shanbo face the same obstacles? Would their love story have a different ending?
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one. Something for everyone to think about.
Exactly, because even though times have changed, some things, like the power of love and the struggle against societal norms, remain timeless.
Well said. All right, folks, that's our deep dive into the Chinese legend of the butterfly lovers. Thanks for joining us, and until next time, keep exploring those ancient tales, and who knows, maybe you'll discover some timeless truths along the way.
And maybe even find your own butterfly.
Yeah, yeah.